Some things I really liked about my official multi-camera live performance was the fact that the sound was so clear, because all of the microphones were all set up and plugged straight into the sound system and they were coming straight through. There was no echo. I was also really happy with the lighting throughout because the lighting technician was able to follow really clearly what I wanted. So, for example, you can see on the side of my planning, I wrote what colours I wanted when, and you can clearly see those in the show. So in the chorus, I wanted multicoloured lights, and you can very clearly see those. You can see all the different colours flashing up and down, which is good because it adds another layer of dimension to my piece. I also really like the range of shots throughout, so although we only had 3 cameras, we managed to get a lot of shots thanks to 2 cameras being manned. So one of the cameras was on wheels, so that meant that you could get a really, really good view of the band, up close and personal with the members of the band and their instruments as well, which was really, really handy because as said before, it gave the show another level of sort of like dimension. It made it fun for the viewers to watch. One of the main problems that we did have with the cameras was you can see from my diagrams on the bottom corners of my shot lists, I wanted camera 2 to be the static one with the view of the whole band, and I wanted camera 3 to be the one that was getting close-up shots of all of the different members. However, the equipment we had only had 2 normal lenses and one of them was a close-up, so it was really, really difficult in a studio that's fairly small to get a view of the whole band from the back of the room. In the end, we had to take the close-up lens off of the camera 3 and put it on camera 2 so that the person on camera 3 moved over to camera 2 as well, and that would be the manned camera in the end so that camera 3 can get a view of the whole room because it was the only one that actually could. We had to put some tape down to make sure that people weren't sort of stepping out of where they should be, but obviously the test was for that and we made sure that that wasn't a problem at all, and it ended up working out really well. You can see in the footage that actually everyone is wearing a different coloured shirt so pink, black, blue, white and red, and that was actually done intentionally. I didn't want my crew to be confused with names and things like that, so what I did was put everyone in a different colour so that if I needed anyone to focus on someone in particular but they didn't know their name, I'd just say the colour of their shirt, and then that would make life a lot easier for the rest of the crew. Personally, I feel as though the vision mixing was okay. There were parts within the song where people were being focused on that weren't actually doing anything, which is really, really irritating looking back on it. However, it happens. I'm sure with more practice this wouldn't happen. However, I was so busy getting the next shot lined up, was sort of focusing on that rather than what was actually on the screen at the time. That is, like I said, that just happens sometimes, but it's something to reflect on and to improve on next time, so I'll do more tests to make sure that doesn't actually happen again. I feel like I spent a lot of time focusing on the actual songs, but not the interview itself. Getting the chairs in and out was really successful. A minute was plenty long enough. The main problem with the interview was the microphone. We only had one, and that was the singer's microphone. And people weren't holding it close enough to their mouths, which is why the audio isn't so great on that. We did tell them before that they need to, we told them in the test shoot that they do need to hold the microphone closer to their face. However, they didn't, but once again that happens. In the future what we'd do is we'd get the host to actually hold the microphone. The only problem with that is that we didn't want him to block anyone, so whilst they were talking we didn't want him to get in front of them, in front of the camera, in the way. Or we'd get some little clip-on microphones so they could clip them on their collars and get a really good speech. The only problem with that is that they wouldn't have enough time to get them in the microphones and out before the minute is up, so they'd either have to leave them on the whole time, which would make more work for the audio technician, or they just have to be really fast. I think the band performed well, which was obviously an important part of the show because this is a show meant to sort of, make them look good, advertise them as a band and, hopefully get them some more work. They showed a lot of confidence, which was good. It was really good. Hopefully that was due to the test and, a lot of planning went into this, so they sort of knew what they were doing from the off, which was really, really handy. Overall, the performance went really, really well, I think. I liked the layout. Everything went to plan, or most things did anyway. The only thing that didn't go to plan was obviously the camera people not being able to hear what I was saying throughout, which was a problem. However, we overcome it by them looking at the storyboards that I had and the shot list that I had, and then they knew roughly what I wanted, so they were able to sort of improvise, but with a guide, so guided improvisation, I suppose. And this really helped obviously get the shots that I needed without having to sort of scream down the scream down the microphone so that they could hear me. I'm really happy with the final outcome of my show. The only downsides to my show were possibly the length. I think it should have been slightly longer. It only ended up coming to about 11 and a half minutes, but I feel like it should have been 15. So perhaps what I needed to do is get another song in there, or get another few questions in there from the interviewer.
Just call Mike Campbell at 01553 815 598. That's
Another problem was me as a vision mixer focusing on people that weren't actually doing anything when there were other people that were. But once again, I'd learned to obviously not do that in the future. Kick myself for it now. That's what's important. You learn from these mistakes. But other than that, it went really well. You know, the lighting was great, the audio was great, the audio technician knew exactly when to put the sound on, take it off. It was just a good success, and I feel like it was a fairly professional shoot.
Drown me out with your voice. I've not spoken for days. Left your car.
Overall, I think the shoot was a fairly professional shoot. You've got a variety of different shots in there, which is good and professional. You've got the clear sound, which is a good practice. I think the performance and the live show went really, really well. I feel like it was professional. You've got the lighting aspect, the audio aspect, all of that come off as really, really professional, really good. The way in which I controlled the situation when things did go wrong a little bit was professional as well. As the director, you know, I don't want to be worrying the cast and the crew that something's going to go wrong. It's just all about reassuring them and making sure that they know that everything's going to be okay. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you liked the performance as well.
I got caught up in your details, grow vulnerable to your eyes. The kids were born to the sting.